forget to like, comment, subscribe, and become a member of my canal family. Don't forget to also check out my podcast. I have one for adults and one for kids. They are called Salt Under the Sea with Me, and the other is called Gummy Bear Land It's called Gummy Bear Podcast Land. It is fall now, so I thought it'd be fun to show you some cute little quotes. This one says, "Take on the world." This one says, "I got this." Take on the world, I got this. They're kind of like paperweights, pretty heavy. So I also have Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, a kids YouTube channel. I also do photography, crafts. I'm selling hats and earrings, so check out that. I have a website. Please go check out my website. It's in my description below. I also hope that you all enjoy this lovely video. It was a parent's worst nightmare. On May 26, 2005, Dave and Beth Holloway bid farewell to their daughter, Natalie, as the 18-year-old and 124 of her Alabama classmates left for a 5-day group trip to Aruba. The couple would never see her again. During her final nights on the island, Natalie vanished while partying with friends. She was last seen outside a restaurant at about 1:30 a.m. on May 30th when she got into a car with Jordan Van D. Salute, a 17-year-old Dutchman studying in Aruba, and his friends Deepak and Statish Popol. When the honor student failed to arrive home in the U.S. the next day, Beth frantically hopped on a private jet to Aruba and got in touch with local police to launch a search party. Van D. Slot intentionally claimed Natalie wanted to see sharks, so he and the Cole brothers took her to a nearby beach before bringing her back to her hotel at about 2 a.m. He said that as they drove away, a man in a black shirt approached Natalie on June 9th, though Okay, today, the content could be a little more mature for audiences, so please, as someone before listening to this video,
and see without any luck,
it's mature and may be uncomfortable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Be cautious. This is more for adults, or for those who get permission.
Used by police in hopes of getting a confession, but they were never charged. Years went by without any new evidence, and Van D. Salute changed his story numerous times in police and TV interviews. In one particular demanding Dutch broadcaster, Van D. Salute claimed in January 2008 that he was unable to revive Natalie after she became unresponsive, and that a friend later identified as Dory disposed of her body. But soon after, Van D. Salute told authorities that when he said on camera was not true, blaming the effects of marijuana. Months later, he made another allegation on Fox News on the record, saying he had sold the
into yeah, I'm not saying those words. No, thank you. In an interview with NBC in 2008, Beth, who had discovered Dave and remarried, said that Vandy Sloot is a time bomb and he will strike again. In March 2010, the accused killer reached out to Beth's lawyer, saying in exchange for $2,500 he would reveal where Natalie was. He went with an attorney who gave him $10,000, and Beth wired $15,000 to Vandy Sloot's bank account, and the college dropout claimed that Natalie had hit her head on a rock and his late father had buried her in the foundation of a house. Then he denied the tale and days later boarded a flight to Peru. 2 months later, on the 5th anniversary of Natalie's disappearance, business student Stephanie Florence was reported missing in Lima, Peru. 3 days later, the 21-year-old was found bludgeoned to death in a hotel room residing to Vandy Sloot. He was arrested in Chile in June 2010 and sentenced to 28 years in prison in January 2012, the same month that an Alabama judge declared Natalie legally dead at the request of her father. As an advocate for safe travel, Beth hosts her own 2011 Lifetime series, Vanish with Beth Holloway, in which families share stories about missing loved ones. You're never going to get over the loss of losing your loved one. There's not going to happen. But life does move on, Beth, who wrote the 2007 best-selling Love, Natalie, a Mother's Treasurement of Hope and Faith, told ABC News in 2019 Natalie would want us to enjoy what life we have. And alleged accomplice end up dead. In 2017, Dave Hollows appeared on the action series The Disappearance of Natalie, in which John Leadrock claimed that Jordan Vandy Sloot paid him $1,500 to dig up, crushed, and cremated Natalie's bones in 2010. Just months later, in March 2018, Leadwick, 38, died after he tried to kidnap a former friend, Emily, and she stabbed him. In an interview with Dr. Phil in 2020, Hiatus said Liquid told her years earlier that Vandy Sloot was responsible. Alexa, stop. Was responsible. Jordan called his dad and helped him dispose of the body. Let's see if we can find any more facts online about her.
Crime
I remember
cases
reading about her
I've
case
been reading
years
about,
ago, and I
want
always
to say
thought,
that I don't mean any harm.
I had a
or
friend who was
disrespect
blonde
or
hair and
anything.
blue eyes,
And
natural,
sometimes
and
the
she
cases
went
can be
overseas
really,
and her parents
really
were freaking
scary.
out.
But I tried to do
I just
true
remember
crime
reading
in this
creepy
case, and it
things.
makes you not want to go anywhere
Tuesday.
ever. So this recording might be up
Natalie Ann
twice.
Holloway, born October 21st,
And I just want to say I don't mean any harm,
May
disrespect,
30th,
or any
2005,
hurtfulness. I'm
was
just
an
giving you
18-year-old
the facts of the
American
cases
woman who
and letting
mysteriously
everyone know that this is what I
disappearance
found. This
made
is a case
it
people are
international
talking
news
about.
after
This
she
is a
vanished
case that people are thinking about.
on May 30th,
I
2005.
have looked
end
into
of
a lot
high
of
school
cases, and
graduation.
I don't want to just.
Trip to
I don't want anyone to
Aruba
feel
in the
disrespected if
Caribbean.
I say their
So
name wrong.
first
You
thing
can
first, people are like, oh, maybe
try to
she
correct
ran
me.
away.
I might try to be able to pronounce it
Typically,
right.
you
I might
run
not be
away
able to
after graduation.
due to my learning problem.
Because
But I just want to say that I don't mean any disrespect to anyone ever, and I
Also,
hope
she
that
was
you all
18.
understand that I'm just giving you the facts.
Could have just left
And sometimes I may or
that
may
would've
not
been
give you my
fine,
opinion,
but
or I
this
could
does
just
not
tell you
sound
like, hey,
like
this is
she
my
just
opinion
left
based on what
and-
you're saying.
Like not even a, I know this personally, but like more of a like a, this is what people are leaning towards, and do I agree or disagree, but a lot of the time,
so
I don't really know. So I'm gonna say like, this could be my opinion, but I really don't know them personally or know the case personally, so it really is
I know
like,
when I was 18,
this is what has been said, so this is what the opinion of other people have been. And I hope y'all understand that I don't mean any disrespect or harm, and I do not suggest you do any of this stuff that people have done.
Then I can leave.
And I hope that this stuff doesn't continue to happen. And I hope y'all enjoy
seems odd.
the cases, and I hope y'all learn from them, more importantly. And I hope you all
Natalie was
understand
fly home from the
that,
Caribbean
hey, this is what happens, let's be careful, let's
but
learn from this,
let's
let's try to get a new law in, let's try to do this, let's try to keep it from happening again.
In Oregon.
Okay.
She was in a car with local resident Jordan Vandy Sloot and brother Deepak and Santish Kapil. I'm so sorry, I cannot pronounce these names for the life of me. When the three men were questioned, they said that they dropped off Hollywood at her hotel and denied knowing what had happened. Denied knowing what had become of her. Upon further investigation by authorities, Vandy Sloot was arrested on twice for suspicion in her disappearance, and the cops were each arrested 3 times due to lack of evidence. The 3 suspects were released each time without being charged with a crime. Holloway's parents criticized Arbrin police for the lack of progress in the investigation and of the 3 men who were last seen with their daughter. The family also called for a boycott of Aruba, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, which gained Alabama Governor Bob Riley's support but failed to gain widespread backing. With the assistance of hundreds of volunteers, Aruba investigators conducted an exclusive search operation. American special agent from the FBI, 50 Dutch soldiers, or 3 special Dutch Air Force F-16 aircraft in the search. In addition to the ground search, divers searched the ocean for Holloway's body. Her remains were never found. On December 18th, 2007, announced that the case would be closed without charging anyone with a crime. The Aruba? I have no idea how to pronounce this word. Office reopened case on February 1st, 2008 after receiving video footage of Vandy Sloot under the influence of green grass, saying that Holloway died on the morning of her disappearance and that a friend disposed of her body. Vandy Sloot later deemed that what he had said was true, and in an interview said that he had solid no, I'm not saying that. So let's see. Background: Holly was the first of 2 children to Dave and Elizabeth Beth in Memphis, Tennessee. Her parents divorced in 1993, and she and her younger brother Matthew were raised by their mother. In 2000, Beth married George Woody, a permanent Alabama businessman, and the family moved to Mountain Brook, Alabama. Holloway graduated with honors in May 2005 from Mount Brook High School, located in a wealthy suburb of. She was a member of the National Honor Society. Okay, so she did graduate. Listen, she doesn't seem like the kind of girl who would not tell her parents where she went at all. I mean, like, it seems kind of weird that, like, she up and disappeared. She's an honor student. She's well behaved. And the school dance squad and participated in other activities. Holloway was scheduled to attend University of Alabama on a full scholarship. Okay, listen.
Usually you don't, like, plan stuff if you're going to run away. So that just isn't what I'm thinking here. I still think the Van D guy did it. Or she planned to pursue a pre-med track. But I think everyone thinks he did it. At the time of his daughter's disappearance, David Holloway was an insurance agent for State Farm, while Beth was employed by the Mountain Back school system. Disappearance on Thursday, May 26, 2005. Yeah, okay, so we talked about that. Early investigation. I'm gonna see if there's anything from 2020. Media coverage. Let's see. I'm gonna look up. Let's see if we can find anything. Okay. Why Natalie Hollywood disappearance remains unsolved. In 2005, the disappearance of Natalie gained national attention as the 18-year-old high school student seemingly vanished without a trace during a school trip to Aruba, I think. Although several suspects were identified and even arrested, nobody was convicted of killing the teen or her remains had ever been found. On May 26, 2005, Natalie traveled to Aruba with her Mountain Back, Alabama high school classmates for their senior trip. Yeah, every group of seniors has a senior trip. Alexa, stop. Okay, so my class went to Disney. It's probably because that's all they could afford. I didn't go because I was pregnant and didn't feel like going. I was like, what's the point? No, I gave birth and I was like, what is the point? I'll have to bring a baby with me. I'll have to go alone because I didn't really know my class. Like, I knew my classmates, but at the same time, like, I wasn't really buddies with them. So I was like, what is the point? I had other priorities. But, like, when you don't have those, a lot of people go on a school trip. Biography reports Natalie met a man named Jordan. I'm not saying Van D salute on May 29th in a casino at the Holiday Inn Resort, where she and her classmates were studying. She agreed to meet him at the Carl's and Charles nightclub in Oregon just later that same evening. As reported by the FBI, Natalie joined a large group of classmates at the nightclub. According to witnesses, the Charles and Charlie's nightclub closed at 1 a.m., approximately 30 minutes late. Natalie was seen later leaving the area in a silver car with them, who were later identified as Deepak and Santos and Jordan. Okay, so here's my take on poor Natalie. If you and your friends go to a different country, please do not let them go off with strangers. And please keep a track on them, because even though you, like, want to give them the freedom, you may want to just be like, I want to keep track of you, keep track of me, let's make sure we have a buddy system in place. Because this is what happens when you don't have a buddy system. People end up in bad situations that they can't get out of. Okay. The FBI has reported the Mountain Brook High School students were scheduled to leave Aruba the following morning. Although they agreed to meet in the lobby prior to their departure, Natalie Holloway never showed up. Hotel staff confirmed Natalie's personal belongings, including her passport, were still in her room. Yeah, okay, she definitely fishy. Definitely fishier than people think. However, there was no sign of the teen on the premises. An official search team was organized the following day. Usually, people don't leave without their passport. Makes you really do think something happened with these guys. Yeah, here's a tip. I don't care if you're a guy or girl. Have a buddy system in place, please. Like a bigger, better buddy system.
Biography reports Natalie Wood's mother and stepfather were immediately informed she was missing. Under questionable circumstances, they reunited a private jet and traveled to Aruba with close friends to assist in the search for their daughter. Local authorities were reluctant to declare Natalie officially missing, as a witness said she willingly left the nightclub with Jordan and his friends. However, several groups, including locals, other tourists, and church teams from Texas and the Netherlands, organized their own search for missing teen. Unfortunately, no trace of Natalie was never found. Here's a tip: when you go to another country, the police are different, so make sure you keep track of people in your group in the house. If you're like, they're not home, it's late, where could she be? Text her, go tell like another person, let them know what's going on, because this is what you don't want to happen. And I was told about this story, and that's how I always knew to have a buddy system. The only upside to having siblings that I lived with, you had a buddy. You have a buddy system. As report biography, authorities identified several persons of interest, including Jordan and the brothers, in the days following Natalie's disappearance. Although all three men admitted they left the nightclub with Natalie, they told different stories about what happened after they left, which is a little suspicious. Usually it's a very, like, but who knows, like, this just seems so, I don't trust these boys at all. Initially, Jordan said they all visited a local lighthouse before taking Natalie back to her hotel. He later said he left her at a beach near the hotel with the expectation she would walk the rest of the way home. The brothers corroborated Jordan's story about leaving the teen on the beach. First of all, who leaves a person alone on a beach in the middle of like the night? Because if the bar closed at 1, you left right after the bar closed. What makes you think that was a good idea? Like, really? I feel like, okay, I'm taking you back to your hotel. I don't care if this is out my way, it takes out of my time. I'm making sure you get back safely. Like, no, that's not okay. As there were no body or any physical evidence proving Jordan and the brothers harmed Natalie in any way, they were all eventually released from custody. Biography report authorities received numerous tips, but a vast majority proved to be false or misleading. Jordan Van D. Sloop confessed and claims he lied. I still don't trust you, dude. Like, for some reason, I just don't trust him. In February 2008, Dutch reporter Peter R. de Vries secretly recorded Jordan Van D. Sloot telling on, I have no idea what that word is, that Natalie collapsed while they were at the beach in the early morning hours of May 30th, 2005, as reported by Biography. I'm just calling him Jordan. Said he attempted to revive Natalie, but was simply too late. Instead of reporting the incident to the police, he and a friend put her body in a boat and dumped her in the ocean. When he realized he had been recorded, Jordan said he fabricated the story. 2 years later, Jordan attorney contacted Natalie's mother and said Jordan would reveal the location of Natalie's body in exchange for $25,000. Okay, so yeah, okay. I don't believe him, for the love of goodness gracious. But you would do anything to find out if your child was alive. Although he was never actually charged in the disappearance and death of Natalie, was arrested on the case. John claimed he disposed of Natalie's body.
in a 27 documentary telling the disappearance of Natalie Holloway. Christopher, we talked about this. Authorities responded that Christopher disturbed and confessed in a Facebook post which stated the correct authorities who are working on the case have been notified. Our investigation is local cases ongoing. Currently, there are no reports yet available. However, less than 1 year after the documentary was released, was killed by another woman, whom he was reportedly attempting to kidnap. At the time of his death, there were no charges. Okay, so if I was this poor girl's parents, if I was this young girl's poor parents, I'd be A, terrified, B, annoyed, C, angry, do anything to find her. Like, just, And I remember this story because, like, my siblings and I were like, why do we have to stay together? Alexa, turn on workspace light.
Okay.
We were like, why do we have to stay together? Why do we have to follow each other around? Well, why do we have to stay in a group? And, like, have you ever heard of Natalie Wood's case? Alexa, stop the timer. And I'm like, what? No, I haven't. They're like, well, she went to another country and vanished. That can happen here. I'm like, what? She's the, like, my stepmom and my dad were like, by the way, if you ever go to another country, stay with the group, stay with people. There's a few things they taught me that made sense. And my grandma's like, yeah, I would do that exact same thing. Like, stay with a group of people, tell an adult if someone isn't there. If you have a phone nowadays. I don't know. I forget in 2007 if we had phones. I was too young to have a phone. So I wouldn't know if they did at that point. Like 2000, okay, I was 2000. Okay, back.